waited long enough. So let's do it. Here are the nominees for the Game Awards 2024. For Best Ongoing Game, the nominees are...
Best Ongoing Game. Fortnite.
Destiny 2. Diablo 4. Final Fantasy 14,
Sure.
Fortnite, and Helldivers 2.
And Helldivers 2. So, in what universe is No Man's Sky not on the list? Like, they should... No Man's Sky should have been there instead of, fucking, Diablo 4. My opinion.
Your best performance nominees are Brianna White for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hannah Tell for Life is Strange Double Exposure, Umberly Gonzalez for Star Wars Outlaws, Luke Roberts Silent Hill 2, and Melina Juergens Senua's Saga Hellblade 2.
I can see her probably winning it because the game was pretty much based entirely around her and like her expressions and her acting. I probably expect her to win it. It's just, you know, I'm not even saying like, you know, like the game was good. I'm just saying like, yeah, I could easily see that.
For the best mobile game, the nominee.
Best mobile game that came out this year? I want to say Wuthering Waves.
These are AFK Journey.
Oh.
Balatro, Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, Wuthering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zero. The nominee.
Yeah, I feel like it's either Zenless Zone Zero or Wuthering Waves. Balatro, yeah, I mean, Wuthering Waves is dead as fuck. Is it really a dead game now?
These for best art direction are
Best art direction's Metaphor. Easiest decision of my life.
Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Metaphor ReFantazio, and Neva.
More like Never Gonna Win. I don't know what the fuck that is. So, yeah, in my opinion, I think it should be, what do you call it? Like Metaphor. Like, I do. I mean, it's my opinion. If Wukong wins, I think that'd be great. If Elden Ring wins, that'd be great. But, like, the one that I liked the most, that I felt like was the most interesting, was definitely Metaphor.
For Best Score and Music, this year's nominees are Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor ReFantazio, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade.
I think that Metaphor is better for music than Stellar Blade. A lot of the Stellar Blade music was really repetitive, personally. But I didn't play any of the other games, so like I feel like I can't really put much of a, you know, much of my 2 cents in there. Yeah, if you guys think Rebirth clears, like, that's totally fine. I haven't played it.
In the category of Best Audio Design, these games are nominated: Astrobot, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Do you remember whenever they put Best Audio Design? Didn't Warzone get put in Best Audio Design one time? I'm like, bro, y'all, like, what are y'all thinking?
Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. Best Adaptation recognizes excellence in authentically creating shows, movies, and other creative endeavors based on video game worlds. Here are this year's nominees for Best Adaptation: Arcane, Fallout.
It's got to be Arcane, right? I mean,
Knuckles, Like a Dragon.
Damn, that's actually crazy. Like, Fallout, like Arcane, and like the Knuckle, like That's crazy. You guys think Fallout? I feel like just the reason why I thought it would be Arcane is because League of Legends is just so much bigger. But I don't know. Like, this is stacked.
And Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft.
Oh, that's the game where they made her gay or something like that. Or the show, like the Netflix one. There's no way that's going to win.
For Best Narrative in a Game, the TGA nominees are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Metaphor ReFantazio, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, as I said, I only really played one game out of those. I mean, for me, it would be Metaphor, but like, oh wow, the one game that I played, I think is the best one. You know. Final Fantasy VII, it's not even close. I know I need to play it. I know. I think that after I finish Metaphor and I finish Dragon Age, I'm going to play Final Fantasy VII. I'm probably going to do Final Fantasy VII and then also play Ghost of Tsushima.
Games for Impact celebrates thought-provoking games with a profound pro-social meaning or message.
Okay.
Here are this year's nominees. Closer the Distance, Indica, Neva, Life is Strange Double Exposure, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Tales of Kenzera, Zao.
I really think that games like this, the way that they grade games on their impact is, I think, flawed. I think that a lot of these games, this is basically like the games with like, and I don't think Zao really had like a super overt like social message from like what I've seen from the game, but a lot of the other games, I feel like there are many games that have really strong social messages, like for example, Final Fantasy or Metaphor or I'm trying to think, I mean, I feel like those are probably the top two that I would come up with like right off the top of my head. And like Wukong, I don't think it really had a social message to it. Like Another Crab's Treasure, like think about that. Like the social message of Another Crab's Treasure, I actually think was insanely good. And I think it deserves to be on this list. Yeah, so like not profound enough. And so like I really wish that people could respect a implicit telling of a like social message rather than it being overt, because I think that the overt telling of social messages often makes them very off-putting for people.
The nominees for Best Community Support are Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, Helldivers 2,
Nope.
and No Man's Sky.
That's really tough. That's super tough. I don't even know.
In the category of Best Multiplayer, the nominees are Call of Duty Black Ops 6,
A lot of people like it.
Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree,
Oh.
Tekken 8, and Warhammer 40,000, Space Marine 2.
If I had to pick, I would probably say Space Marine, but Tekken 8, I just don't know enough about Tekken. Like, in my opinion, I feel like the games, like my favorite fighting game to watch right now is Sparking Zero. Because of how asymmetrical and kind of unbalanced it is, I find it more interesting. My second favorite of like the traditional fighting games would be probably Street Fighter 6. I've just, like, I like Tekken. Tekken's cool, but I just think the other ones are more interesting.
Best Independent Game celebrates games with a high degree of risk tolerance, as they are produced outside of the traditional publisher system. The nominees are...
Black Myth Wukong should win this 100%, by the way. It's not even a question.
Animal Well, Balatro,
Yeah, okay, all right.
Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Neva, and
It's not even
UFO
on here.
50.
It's not even, okay, it's not even nominated. I guess, like, maybe the idea is, like, because it's so big that it doesn't count. Balatro is hella fun. See, I've never played Balatro.
Next is Best Debut Indie Game, which recognizes a development team that hasn't won a Game Award before. In fact, these teams published their first game in 2024. The nominees are Animal Well,
Okay.
Balatro,
Again.
Manor Lords,
I thought Manor Lords, they had made a game before.
Pacific Drive, and The Plucky Squire.
Okay, I never
For
even heard
Best
of that.
VR AR
Nobody
game,
cares.
the nominees are
No, they
Arizona
hadn't? Okay.
Sunshine Remake,
I was thinking something
Asgard's
else.
Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Shadow, Metal Hellsinger VR, and Metro Awakening. For Content
Next.
Creator of the Year, the nominees are Queso,
Queso should be Queso. I don't need to see the rest of them. For gaming content creators, I feel like Queso is like by far the best gaming content creator this year. I mean, I really think so.
Illawan, Techno Gamers,
I don't know who that is.
Typical Gamer, and Usada Pecora.
I don't know what Pecora does, so I'm not really even sure. But like, I could see her winning too because of like just how big the VTuber fan base is. But I'd love to see Queso win something. That'd be really cool. But if Pecora wins too, that'd be awesome.
One of the Game Awards is looking forward to what's next.
A couple of the other
And
guys
yes,
aren't really
we'll
know them.
have lots of games to announce on December 12th. But what's the most anticipated upcoming game? Here are the nominees based on currently announced titles.
Most anticipated game, Grand Theft Auto 6. What are you even talking about?
Death Stranding 2, On the Beach, Ghost of Yote, Grand Theft Auto 6,
I wonder.
Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and Monster Hunter Wilds.
I think that besides Grand Theft Auto, because it's just like such a clear gap, I think Death Stranding 2 and Monster Hunter Wilds are probably the next two that are like the most anticipated. I feel like for different crowds of people, I think that this Monster Hunter game, keep in mind, the Monster Hunter beta that was like, to be fair, free to play, had a higher player count than any Monster Hunter game has ever had before on Steam. Like I actually think that this Monster Hunter, if it goes well, may even hit like close to 1 million people. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, this game is going to be the Monster Hunter version of Elden Ring. Just wait and see.
The Best Action Adventure nominees are Astrobot,
Wukong 100%.
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown,
I think that this game was pretty good, but I don't think that it deserves to win an award for action adventure. Like, I just think it was a very good game, but I don't think it's an award winner. It's like an 8.5 game.
Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and
What the fuck?
The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. For Best Role Playing, the jury selected Dragon's Dogma 2,
You can't really play much of a role in Dragon's Dogma 2. There aren't a lot of decisions that you can make, and I think that Dragon's Dogma 2, it should have been Capcom's Elden Ring. Dragon's Dogma 2 had the potential to be as big of a deal as Elden Ring was, and it's probably the biggest fumble that I've ever seen from a game before. Like, I'm just being honest, right? Like, it was a tech demo? Yeah, like Dragon's Dogma 2 felt like it was a tech demo. It's an amazing game. Yeah, but like it's very one-dimensional. What went wrong? There are like 1-hour YouTube videos that dissect everything that went wrong. I think that they're right about basically everything.
Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth,
The Metaphor,
and
I'm assuming? Yeah.
Metaphor ReFantazio. In the category of
I think Final Fantasy will probably win this one.
Best Fighting, the nominees are Dragon Ball Sparking Zero,
In my opinion, that's my favorite fighting game this year. But it's also the only one I played. But to be fair, also, it's the only one that's motivated me to want to play it. Like, I watched Lucari play Grand Blue Versus. Yeah.
Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. Multiversus, and
who's playing
Tekken
that?
8.
I feel, let's be honest, right? It's between Tekken and Sparking Zero. Like, none of the other games in that category matter at all. Like, I personally, I like Sparking Zero way more. But if Tekken wins, it'd be like, yeah, for sure.
The nominees for Best Action are Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah.
Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, and Warhammer 40,000 Space.
This is like the category for like all the good games. I think almost every single game in this list could, if they won it, I would be like, yeah, deserved. Yeah, what an insane fucking lineup.
Marine 2. Innovation in accessibility celebrates games that are making our industry available and enjoyable to more people. Selected by a special committee of accessibility experts, the nominees for innovation in accessibility are Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age: The Veil.
That's true. Yeah, you can like. I think Dragon Age could deserve to win this. Because you can be absolutely fucking brain dead and be able to figure out puzzles. And like, I realized that Dragon Age was made for retards when I could figure out the puzzles. Like, because, you know, like on stream, I'm like mentally AFK, right? I'm not even really thinking. And like Dragon Age, like I could figure them out. Yeah.
Guard, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and Star Wars Outlaws.
I actually think that Diablo 4 could win this too. Because a lot of the other examples that people have for accessibility is that, like for Star Wars Outlaws and a few other games, the majority of them, their idea of accessibility is making the game so easy that it's effectively just a joke. But Diablo 4 made a number of changes that make it easier for a person who has a disability to function in the same way that a person who doesn't have a disability can function. And I would like to see more of a focus on that being what the award for accessibility is games that, like, for example, like here's a great example of that is, you know how like Fortnite, for example, has the like little thing where it tells you where the sound is from for people that are hearing impaired or deaf? That is like amazing, because instead of making the game and watering down the game, now what they're doing instead of that is they're giving a person the tools to function as if they are a real player. And I think that it's in a way, this is, you know, my opinion as somebody who's not disabled, but I think it's in a way disrespectful for disabled people to think that their version of accessibility should be making the game so easy that you just don't have to do anything. I think much better, like another really great example of accessibility would be Final Fantasy 16. I think Final Fantasy 16 is like a masterclass in accessibility with the different tools and items that you can get that effectively allow the game to autoplay for you. Because some players only use one arm. Yeah, exactly. And so like that's what I really hope that they focus on with accessibility. I'm follicle challenged? Okay.
Next up, Best Family Game. The nominees are
Best Family Game, really easy decision. Coffin of Andy and Laylee. It's all about family.
Astrobot, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and The Plucky Squire.
I think probably Astrobot should win that. Like, just, and this is from an outsider POV, like I haven't played any of those games. I feel like Astrobot's kind of like, yeah.
The Best Sim Strategy nominees are
Age
of Mythology Retold,
Ooh.
Frostpunk 2.
Heard a lot of good things about that one.
Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess.
I watched like this one girl play a sponsored stream of this game. And this game, you know what? I was actually kind of excited for this game because it was made by Capcom. It looked really messy. You know, like it just looked like a messy game.
Manor Lords and Unicorn Overlord.
I'm going to play Unicorn Overlord. Like, that's going to be another one of my, like, off-stream games. I'm very excited to try this out.
This year, these titles are nominated for Best Sports Racing. F1 24, EA Sports FC 25, NBA 2K 25, Top Spin 2K 25, and WWE 2K 24.
I think it's NBA, right? I mean, like, because it's like, I don't know. Probably just FIFA. I mean, I have no idea.
All right, let's take a look at our 3 esports categories.
Okay.
Starting with Best Esports Game.
League.
The nominees are Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and Valorant. The nominees for Best Esports Athlete
Faker.
are 3-3, Alexi B, Juvie, Faker, Zywoo, and Kong Kong. And for the Best Esports
come on.
team, our special esports committee nominated these teams.
I have no opinion.
Billy Gaming, League of Legends. Gen G, League of Legends. Navi, Counter-Strike. T1, League of Legends. And Team Liquid, Dota 2. All right, it's time for our final 2 categories. For Best Game Direction, which recognizes outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design, the nominees are Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio.
Man, that's so hard for me to say. I feel like this is so... It's basically, like, opinion-based, right? Like, is it Wukong? Is it Metaphor? Is it Final Fantasy? Like, what does... Like, I mean, because I'm thinking, like, what does game direction mean? I really don't know. Yeah, it's a weird, like, it's just like, I'd want to know, like, what is it, like, how do you define this? Making the stories feel smooth? I mean, maybe, right? I mean, but, like, I think everybody has a different definition. Like, it's a little bit different for everybody.
Tazio. And finally, our global TGA jury, of which I am not a member, has selected the following 6 games as nominees for Game of the Year at the Game Awards 2024. The Game of the Year nominees are Astrobot from Team Asobi, Balatro from Local Thunk, Black Myth Wukong by Game Science, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree by From Software, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth from Square Enix, and Metaphor ReFantazio from Studio Zero.
I thought it came from Atlas. But anyway, I thought that was the name. I think Game of the Year should be Black Myth Wukong. In my opinion, I think, like, it's such a convergence of accomplishments that all happened at the same time that I think it really needs to be respected. And I really think that it's a step above every other game that's been released. It was published by Atlas. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, I think Black Myth Wukong is the Game of the Year. The only thing is, like, if people say Final Fantasy VII, I can't tell you you're wrong because I haven't played it. But for me, I think it's by far Black Myth Wukong. Like, and to keep in mind, another thing is that, like, I played this game. I beat the entire game. Like, I went through New Game Plus 1, 2, and 3 in order to unlock every single thing and unlock Wukong stance in the base game. I really like this game. What the fuck? Yeah, because I thought it was really good. It was an insanely good game. So that's my Game of the Year.
So there you have it. Those are your nominees for Game of the Year. And yes, that means you'll hear the Game Awards Orchestra, conducted by Lauren Balfe, play their themes live on this very stage on December 12th. But before then, you should head to thegameawards.com to help select the winners by casting your ballot in all categories. Also, stay tuned for the announcement of our Player's Voice category, where fans 100% select the winner from 30 nominees. We'll announce those nominees on Monday, December 2nd. The winners in all categories will be revealed live during the Game Awards when it streams globally on Thursday, December 12th, starting with the opening act at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 12:30 GMT at thegameawards.com.
We're going to watch
it. Our team cannot wait to share our 10th anniversary show with you. I hope to see you then. And don't forget to cast your vote.
Pretty good video. Player's voice equal Genshin or another gacha will win. You guys think so? Is that it? Should have included Luis's voice actor for the voice acting. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Maybe a bit. 10%. I mean, I'm trying to think, like, by the way, like, I haven't finished the game. I think Luis is right about everything. Yeah, he's right about... He's not the villain. Yeah, bro, like, they're just losers. Yeah, he right about everything. He great. And like, I feel like he's probably the best example, like, this year of what I think... like, he's what every villain should be. He's charismatic. He's smart. He's competent. From his perspective, his ideals and his motivations are selfless. And he's the hero of his own story. That, yeah, he never lies? No. So Dio? He's not Dio. I'll link it to, I'll link you guys this this video here. But I do think that, like, some of the categories here, like, I'm not a fan of a DLC being part of the Game Awards here. Like, I don't understand how we have a category for the best VR game. Like, I don't know anybody that plays VR games. I feel like they're extremely tiny, but we don't have a category for, like, DLC. I think that we should have if we're going to have a category for VR games and a category for, like, I do? Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. I never see anybody playing them. I never see content about them. I'm sure some people play them, but it's very rare. I think that, in general, there should be a category for for DLCs specifically, right? Or for, like, either... I think it should be for either DLC or for big game updates, right? So, like, you would have Diablo 4. You would have maybe, like, a really big Helldivers patch. You would have maybe, like, Dawn Trail. You would have, you know, obviously Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. That's what I'd like to see. Best ongoing? Yeah, exactly. And so hopefully next year they'll do that. And I do hope that Jeff takes some of the feedback that he's getting, you know, to heart for next year. Obviously, you know, like this, you know, the show's a really big ship. It's hard to turn the ship at this point. But I hope that, like, he listens to the feedback like he did with the feedback regarding... what do you call it? Like, I forgot what it was. There was something that, like, he had changed last year. And, you know, like, makes some changes and improves it, you know, a little bit more. The speeches, yeah, but besides that, it was something besides the speeches. So, no Crab Souls, Sag, best indie for me. Yeah, and I'll shout it out right now. So, this is a game that was made, it was earlier this year. It was called Another Crab's Treasure. It was probably one of the most fun games that I've ever played. It was like everything about this game was, I think, an S-tier like experience. It had great combat. It had a great story. It had really good graphics. It's basically like if you were going to imagine combining Elden Ring and SpongeBob. And then add in a little bit of, like, I don't know, like a little bit of environmentalism. It was just insane. It was such a great game. And at the end of it, it just got so much better. I absolutely would recommend this. Stellar Blade. So I think Stellar Blade... It would be really cool if Stellar Blade won Best Action Game of the Year. I could see that, but there's so many other games. I don't know. Stellar Blade, I think, was a solid 8 game. Like, it might have been an 8.5, but I think it's somewhere around an 8. Half of the year? Yeah, sure. But Grand Blue Fantasy Relink? I think Relink was a very good game too, but I think Stellar Blade was better than Relink. Wukong not in Best Narrative category? You know what? That's actually a really good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, how is Wukong not in Best Narrative? Yeah, story on Wukong sucks. I don't think it does. I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. It's a literal classic. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, so that's really it. Ain't no way they're gonna this Act-Man farming. Ain't no way they're gonna give it Elden Ring Game of the Year twice. I mean, I think the DLC was really, really fun. It was amazing. It's like the Elden Ring DLC is everything that a DLC could be. Like, it's definitely up there in like the Mount Rushmore of DLCs, I feel. Like with you know, Iceborne, and fucking what was it? The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 DLC people said was fucking insane, right? So, yeah, Phantom Liberty, yeah, sure. But I really, really liked it a lot. I just don't think DLC should win Game of the Year because it's not a game. It's an addition to a game. Just, you know, little fucking semantics thing, right? And, yeah, DLC getting legitimate Game of the Year nomination's a joke. Yeah, I think a lot of people are critical of that. Best Game Direction and Game of the Year nominees have the exact same nominees. Yeah, true. They're nominating Grand Theft Auto 6 for most anticipated, but isn't even a challenge for Grand Theft Auto 6. Though, to be fair, it wasn't really a challenge for Baldur's Gate 3 to win. You know, like, I mean, let's be honest, right? I mean, just because somebody has a clean sweep and somebody wins very easily doesn't necessarily mean that the people that are running the show are doing a bad thing. So that's kind of the way I see it.